We've seen how easy it is to run the reports that are included when your Mass 500 Intelligence is installed, and those reports might be very close to what you actually need with a few changes. We're going to look at how you might make those changes to those pre-designed reports, because you have the full power of Excel to edit and analyze the reports and numbers. We saw that we had pivot table reports, and those reports allow for very easy customization by adding in or removing columns that you would like to include or remove. In order to modify a report, you must copy it and then link the changes back. Let's see how it works. So the first thing we want to do is figure out which report is going to suit our purposes. And I'm going to use this Purchases Master. We'll notice that it tells us to edit this report, you must first make a copy of it. And remember, in the lower right hand corner, it told us that the report was locked for editing. Now, it's up to you, but you can actually create your own folders if you'd like to organize your reports in a different manner. Of course, you could put them in the existing folders as well, but it's very easy. All you do is select the home object and right-click. At this point, I'll add a folder. Now, these folders could be called whatever you might need them that makes sense. It might be the East Office, or it could be somebody's name, or the Sales Department. I'm just calling them My Reports, and I'll say OK. So now I've got a folder that will store the reports that I've created. And what I want to do is copy the report that I want, so I'll just select it, I'll right-click, I'll go ahead and copy it, and paste it where I want to create it and run it from. So I'll go ahead and paste it. You'll notice it's been named Copy of the Purchases Master. I can change this name to whatever I want. Let's say I want to call it or Vendor Report. And I can go ahead and apply it. Now there's a couple ways that you can change the name. You could select and right click and it will show you. Now when reports are copied, they have the template that runs the standard report assigned. And I want to assign this new name and create my own template, which is generally what you're going to do. So I'm going to let this say OK. And now my report has been renamed the Vendor Report. Now this is an exact copy of my Purchases Master. I could actually use my Purchases Master to create a different report, and to do that again I would right click, I would copy it, I would paste it, and now I have another copy. What's really important to understand is that the names of the reports are not what's really important to Intelligent. It's the report ID. So right now I actually have three reports doing the same thing. My Purchases Master, my Vendor Report, and the copy of the Purchases Master. Notice that this copy has report ID. My Vendor Report has report 40. So it really doesn't matter what the report name is. The report, as far as Intelligence is concerned, the report name is important for your users and whoever's going to run that report, but Mass Intelligence identifies each report by a unique report ID. So let's go ahead and run this vendor report. And we need to identify which period we want to be running it for. And you'll notice on the properties, it also shows me where my templates are stored, as well as the template name. I could, of course, modify this description if I'd like to at this point, so that it's clear to my users for what's indicated on that report. So here's my vendor purchases report. Now you can see it's a template of a pivot table. And I'm going to go ahead and select just any cell in the pivot table to give me access to my pivot table tools. Because in this company, I don't use multi-currency. So there's really no reason for me to have this field called currency exchange rate. And I can come into my options, access my field list, and delete the currency rate exchange just by dragging it off of the table. Now you'll also notice there's a filter for currency ID. Really not meaningful for me in this report, so I'll go ahead and drag that off as well. So right now I've got a column that's been removed and a filter that's been removed. Now also notice that I've got Sage here, and this is actually a hyperlink. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually remove the hyperlink. If you were going to be posting this report to your intranet site or your internet site, you might want to edit the hyperlink and put your logo on here, which I'm going to do next, and a hyperlink to a page that you would like the viewers to be able to access. In this case, I'm just going to remove the hyperlink. And I want to change the picture so that I have the logo for this company. And I happen to have a little logo out here I'm going to go ahead and put on. Maybe I'll resize it. But now I've got this report modified from my standard. And that's all I'm going to do for this case. So I've got it copied, I've made my changes. The next thing I need to do is minimize this workbook. And I need to link that Excel spreadsheet and workbook to the report that I want to be run with those changes. So I'm going to select my vendor report, do a right click, and you'll notice that there is an option to create and link the template. And that's what I want to do here. It shows me any workbook that's open. So it's a good idea to only work on one at a time, because then you don't have to worry about which one is which. But kind of think about it. If I had been working on the copy of the Purchases Master and a copy of the Purchases Master and I didn't change the names, it could be kind of challenging for me to know which workbook I wanted to associate here. So I know it's the vendor report. Notice it brought in the name because I had that template and that report named. I'll go ahead and say OK. There are parameters on the second sheet. You're going to learn more about that in the intermediate class. We'll go ahead and say yes. My template name defaults from what I had defined earlier. That's fine. I'll just say OK. And now, because I'd used it already, it asked me if I want to replace it. If this is the first time that you were using this, you wouldn't have this field. I'm looking for this, that the template was created successfully and linked to the report. So now in order to test it, I'll go ahead and run my vendor report and see if those changes did take effect. Of course, I could be testing this without data, but makes it a little easier for me to actually see the information coming in. You actually can modify your templates without pulling in data as well. So now we can see we've got the logo showing and that field is no longer there. So for your standard reports, it's very easy. There are fields that are not displayed that you might want to incorporate into your reports, or there might be columns that you're not using. So the thing you need to do is copy the report, paste it, run it, make those changes, and then link them back. A very easy process.